So, with further ado, or no ado, we'll ask for, how do I say? I just see, I'm so cold, I can't even say. I will have to adjourn the meeting, and the time is 7 o'clock, and we will hear from fine Secretary Treasurer.
Okay, our regular report is actually 1,500 still, and our donation report is 535.75.
Okay, so to get it
And then we have 3 that needs to be signed,
3 different
notes.
Okay. Anyone want to recommend that we approve the Secretary Treasurer's report?
Second.
Okay, I'll agree, that was easy. Okay, under, we'll start with old business. It goes back to Scott. Okay, Scott, are they gonna have the farmer's market at the Grange?
No, we've decided not to do it this year. You know, it's kind of a paradox. You have to attract plenty of people to get the vendors interested. You gotta have plenty of vendors to keep the people interested. And we are Grange members, but we did have to pay the rent on the building, and to make sense,
Really?
it needs to make dollars and cents.
Really, I didn't realize.
Yeah, it ran about a break even.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, were there many people of interest that were interested?
Yeah, we
in
had
it?
some pretty steady people that would come every week. It just, especially toward the end, it just kind of tapered off. The interest kind of dwindled a little bit.
Okay, because I noticed they're using other Grange halls for the same thing.
We would like to do it for that core group of people that were, just kept coming, but it was just, we gave it a good try. We're proud of it, and but it just, we're not going to do it again this year.
Yeah. What is there with a farmer's market? I mean, do you have to report on dues, or is there a report you have to file with it and pay taxes on some of this?
Oh, yeah,
So
you have to, just like any other small business, the same
Really?
thing. But how that works is we rented the Grange, and the vendors paid a fee for table space to be there.
Okay.
Yeah. But-
Something like a big yard sale and it's only inside the Grange.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's all that. I think that's one thing we were going to, you wearing your glasses this evening?
If you would get
Oh
something
my
to say
goodness,
to
you
a
look
team.
very professional.
That's my-
Anyhow,
That's
so,
right. That's
okay,
right.
now we'll move on to new business. There's a couple of things here. Actually, we have Rebecca, our fine animal inspector, but do you have any place you have to go quickly? Or can I go down this
You
agenda?
can go down the list, that's fine.
Okay. I was at the last Grange meeting, we were discussing the future of the Apple Peach Festival. I have gotten more people who are dismayed over the Apple Peach Festival parade than I have anything. And of course, Maria was over visiting her folks overseas, and everyone was so busy that we didn't even put our floats in this year.
Not this year.
So anyhow, what they were saying is, I guess it's Fortin who runs it, who doesn't want to run it anymore, or wants to back out, or whatever. This is maybe a good thing or a bad thing, because a lot of people apparently in different stalls, we kind of set it the price you had to pay for a table. How much was it, JJ, do you remember?
It was over 400.
What?
100?
400?
That's a lot.
I can understand, yeah, because you'd have to make up a lot of money to, what's it run, 3 days?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, I try to stay away, but. So anyhow, so that's something to keep in mind, because I brought it up at the Grange, because the Grange has that piece of land, but it goes through the Keiths too.
Mhm.
And so the two of them could really do something real spiffy up there. But that's as much as I said, I thought about it. But, okay, that's one thing. And then, of course, the other thing is, I mentioned to JJ, everybody thinks that Acushnet is a residential area, but actually it's founded on farming and textiles. And of course, if you don't keep your farmland where people can bring their children to get out and view, the great outdoors, and you're going to lose everything. So that's why we're trying to keep farmland available and open. I think it does a pretty good job, especially on Main Street. But that's another thing too. So in keeping with that, as we all know, we're going to be taxed with chickens, amongst other things. So Rebecca, very nicely, has come to the meeting this evening to explain what the health department has started up. And I want to say that all of us know Rebecca. I mean, she's been around, probably one of the best in the state, I'd have to say.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
entirely
that.
welcome. She knows every chicken, dog,
No, I
people,
don't know.
cow, donkey, you name it, Rebecca knows it. So Rebecca's going to explain the new law. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to ask her. Oh, and goats too, I forgot the goats. She knows all the
And the
goats.
horses. Thank you so much for inviting me tonight. And I'm Rebecca Thompson, the animal inspector as well as the animal control officer in the town. And as long as I've been the animal control officer, which is 20 years plus, the Board of Health has always had a stable fee. So if you had horses, it would be $10 per horse. Then they changed that along the way and they capped it at $50. So if you have over 5, it's a max of $50 for your stable permit. And what we did back in, I believe it was in 2008, the Board of Health had put in regulations and there was an animal permit fee, and it was mostly put in for people that were renting, at the time, tenants renting land. So if they weren't abiding by any of our bylaws, we would have something that that would stand behind us. Luckily, we never really had any problems with them, and luckily, that is all done with. We don't have any other people renting land in Acushnet, not that I know of. I have people that own property in Acushnet, and they have their animals on it, and that is fine. They live on their property. Some people own two parcels of property, and they have the animals on their property. So the regulations last year, I believe it was, a letter went out from the Board of Health stating that there was going to be a $50 animal fee, and it was going to be a permit, whether you had chickens, rabbits, 10 goats, 100 animals, it was going to be $50. And then if you had horses, that would be separate. It would either be a stable fee if you just had the horses, or it would be an animal permit fee for all. So last May, I believe it was, there was an agricultural meeting that was held, and the Board of Health agent came to the meeting and was speaking how they were going to rewrite some of the regulations, and he got a lot of backlash from a lot of residents had showed up at that meeting. So from then, moving forward from May until now, over the summer, he didn't really do any work on it. He was busy on other projects. I met with him in the fall and we discussed it, and he took it back to his board, and what we suggested was have the regulation in place so that if I do go, or if I go on an animal complaint and you don't abide or comply with what I'm asking you to do, then we can hit you with a fine. And it's the same, basically the same, I want to say it's basically the same thought as the dog violations. So if you license your dog, if your dog doesn't run free, you will never hear from me. If your dog keeps getting out, if your dog is not licensed and you don't abide by my warnings or my first letter that I send you, then we have violations that are put into place. And it's basically the same thing except for it's regulations in the Board of Health. So I thought that was a lot better than hitting everyone with a $50 fee if you had 2 chickens, a couple of rabbits. A lot of people in town, not a lot, we have quite a few people in town had animals for just a hobby. They had for their grandchildren, and with grain going up and with hay going up, it was quite costly to them. So to pay an additional $50 every single year, it was so costly that quite a few of my residents got rid of their chickens and ducks or their rabbits because they weren't going to pay $50 for that. And I was saddened to see that because I knew that this was in the works, and last week the Board of Health met and they all agreed and they signed off on it, and those were the regulations that I just handed out to you, that they lifted the $50 permit fee. So that is gone, so I'm hoping that everyone out there that is watching this, or anybody that might have had questions, is watching this, and now that'll put them at ease. And if they want to get a copy of the regulations, they can certainly stop over at the Board of Health. And if there's anyone in town that has some chickens or rabbits or some animals and I haven't done a barn inspection at your house, just please contact me at my office, 508-998-9040, and we can set up an appointment and I will gladly go out and inspect your animals and make sure everything is good. If I have to make any suggestions to you to try to safeguard them, because we've had a lot of problems with hawks this past spring and summer, if the chickens were, free roaming, or if they didn't have the proper gating on the top of it to just try to keep them out. Fisher cats are making a comeback. So it's more of a, if I can inspect what you have, then I can also make sure that everything is right for them so that they won't be in harm's way. So I just wanted to come and clarify that the $50 permit fee has been abolished, it's gone, we're good to go. I know every time you see
a
somebody.
demonstration now, we don't.
No, but every time, you hear something from a town official that, people are, there's another fee attached to this, and I don't want that. I want people to be able to call me up if there's a problem. So if I don't know that you have chickens and then I find some roosters somewhere, I don't have a holding period for chickens or roosters. So if I don't know that you have some in the area that you're in, I can't contact you because I have my barn list that I go through every year, and then at the end of December, I mail that back to the state because I'm an agent of the state as far as the inspectors go. So that gives me the ability to be able to do quarantines on animals, and it gives me the ability to do the barn inspections. And this way, with a visual, I know what is going on. Did I inspect every single household in this town that has a chicken or a rabbit? Probably not. But that's why I'm letting people know, anybody that might be out there watching this, to just give my office a call.
Is the offices over here now, or are they over at the school?
But which office is
Are yours?
It's going to be where the Parting Ways is. I have not fully moved in yet, but it's going to be right in Town Clerk, and then if you walk down the hall, it'll be my office, and then it'll be the Veterans Agent. Across the hall will be the Building Inspector, and upstairs is going to be Conservation, Board of Health, and DPW, and I believe Planning is up there also.
Well, nothing's gonna be here. We're all gonna be.
When's that taking place, as far as the moves?
Excuse me?
When are the moves taking place for the
Town
other
Clerk is
departments?
already fully moved in.
Really?
Yes, Conservation is up there, still adjusting.
Mhm.
DPW and Board of Health have always been there, but
Sure.
Board of Health had to move over while they were renovating that office. And Building, I'm not sure when he's going to be in there.
That's good, it's been
So-
tight quarters.
Yeah, Town Clerk's office especially, so.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited about finally having an office after all these years.
Yeah.
Although my front seat of my van is basically my office. I have my important documents in there. So it's fun. I enjoy my job, and I enjoy the residents, and I just want to make sure that they always know that they have an open door, that they can speak to me about anything, and if they think something is wrong, tell me about it beforehand, before I get a call from another agency, from the MSPCA, from the Boston Animal Rescue League, because of course they always check in with the locals before they step over our toes, and I have a very good relationship with all of those agencies. As I was stating to you earlier, Cape Cod Wildlife, we've brought animals up there that have been injured. Tufts, I brought a few reptiles up there this past summer so that they could get them back to health. So, that's what we do.
That's good.
So,
Well, thank you so much for helping work this out. It seems so much more fair to
Yeah.
me.
absolutely.
You have, there's far more people doing it right than, I imagine there's a very small percentage doing it wrong.
Right, and I will hear about it sooner or later. So just like I said, if you know something's wrong, just call me. I'm very easy to work with. I'll help you out as much as I can. But it was getting to be too. I was getting, especially starting my barn inspections in the fall, I was hearing from so many residents that were just so upset about it.
Yeah, it was a shock factor to it, I think, when it came about. I mean, like you say, some people, most people, it's a hobby.
Right.
Yeah, well, anybody ever
Yes.
bought a bag of feed knows there's no to get rich scheme.
No,
Yeah,
not at all,
clearly,
not
yeah.
at all. And that's, and that's why I like these open forums. Obviously over the years, we've gone up on our dog licensing, on our violations, but those were factors that came in through the state. They went up on, the fees. And, to license a dog, it's $10 for a dog that's altered. An unneutered dog, an unaltered dog, is $15. That is still very inexpensive. But the fines, on the other hand, the state has raised those fines for if your animal is unvaccinated, and that only goes for dogs and cats. The only 3 animals that are mandated by the state to get a rabies vaccine are dog, cats, and ferrets. But we license dogs. So if your dog or cat is unvaccinated, the state has implemented a fine of $100 per animal. So if you have a household and you have 6 dogs, that's very expensive.
Yeah.
You know, and now failure to restrain or failure to license has jumped from $25 to $50. Again, if you have, even just that one fee is expensive. Never mind if you have multi-animals in the house. And that's why we send out notifications. We try to let everybody know. We have the clinic in March, in the spring, over at the DPW. Every spring we send out notifications. And so that is coming in from the state. But this fee, especially where we now are a right to farm community, things have changed since 2008. So a lot of that was antiquated, and I just think, like Norma said, we're not residential. You know, we're mostly, you know, it was farm, so we're trying, and that's what we want here. I would much rather wake up to a rooster crowing in the morning than listening to a Mack truck or screeching brakes. I mean, preferences, I guess, but that's my own preference, and I'm sure a lot of you all feel the same way.
No, I think that was the thing, like, it was just a few years ago that we became right to farm in the community as far as being recognized for it, and then shortly thereafter when that fee structure came out, you know, I think people were like, hey, wait a minute, we're right to farm, and now it's $50 if I want to have a few chickens, like,
Right.
We should
you
have
know?
right to
Right.
So
tax
I
on
think a
it.
lot of people will be happy to hear that.
Well, that's why I'm hoping, and I said I left some pamphlets over at the Country Hardware, because that was one of the establishments that we're hearing a lot. And again, a lot of my farm, and I only see when I do my barn inspections, that's only in the fall. And those are people that I really only see in the fall. They basically all stay on their farms because they have things to do. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job. But JJ, Joanne, you know, I mean, you guys are really busy. You know, you guys know. And, you know, you're always doing something. So when they hear something, it just goes like wildfire. And that's what happened when that happened. And so that's why I was glad that you invited me to this, so that I could, you know, help clarify and get it out there. But like I said, unfortunately, quite a few of my residents did get rid of the few chickens
Oh,
or
I'm
rabbits
sure.
they had. Will they get some more? Hopefully they will.
I think they will,
But
because
grain
when
has
the
just
chicks
gone up
come
so
in,
much, you know, like you were just saying, I mean, you know, it's so expensive for a bag of grain. Even my regular barn inspections, the numbers, which is why one of the reasons we do inspections in the fall, because generally numbers are down in the fall. There aren't any, you know, there aren't a lot of babies. But it's still, their numbers general are down because feed is so expensive, hay is so expensive, keeping up with the structure is so expensive. So, and it's a hobby, especially for a lot of folks that are retired and they just enjoy the animals.
Well, I think your jobs come even a little harder, like, because of owls. Now you get other critters. Let's just call them critters.
Well, it's not, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they got rid of the term dog officer years ago when they did the new definitions, and it's animal control, because it's a variation of, you know, the Fisher cats. We had a, what was it, on South Main Street this past week? It was a,
Not a bear.
no,
Mink?
no, what did I tell you? An otter.
Otter?
There was an otter on South Main Street. It was coming out of the quarry and it got hit by a car. And, you know, so we've got otters. Fisher cats have made a huge comeback and they've done some damage. But people don't realize that every one of these animals have a purpose. You know, the bats have a purpose. Everything has a purpose. And, you know, it's the same thing with the coyotes and the fox. It's all part of the ecosystem. I know that some people think they're a nuisance, but you know, you can go online, you can go on the town's website, click on animal control, go to my website, and you can see different, you know, problematic animals. You can click on them. They'll tell you, you know, different fixes for them, and you can always call me.
Sounds good. Anyone
Okay.
got any questions for a very
I don't think so, but thank
fine
you so
animal
much.
inspector?
thank you very
Very
much.
welcome, please. I mean, I love,
Maria,
anytime you guys
how
want to
about
invite
you?
me
You got
back
any
here for anything, I would
questions
love to
for our animal
come.
inspector?
You know, you guys do a great job,
Excellent.
so I think it's, you know, a great commission. And
I think you
just-
do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate
Very nice
that.
presentation.
years.
Thank you.
Very well put
And
together.
actually, if we put together a farming thing in the spring, we'll have to have you come by again and,
Absolutely,
you know,
that would be
absolutely.
fun. That would be
That's
fun,
what's-
actually.
That's what's wrong now, is all the committees like to act on their own, and they can't now. You gotta integrate with all of them.
Well,
mean,
I personally like that you're there, so that way if I do have a problem with a resident, they can come to you and I can come to you and try to make a solution. You know,
Yeah.
let's work with the Ag Commission, let's see what their thoughts are, and we can get in touch with other commissions and see what they've done in their cities or towns. But I mean, most people know me, I've been around for a long time, and most people are compliant. Nobody's trying to do
You
anything.
can come by for a cup of coffee anytime. You want to.
Well, I appreciate that.
So,
I appreciate that, it's
or
always
a
good
little
to-
hooch. I'm Maria. Maria's our winemaker.
So, but no, if you guys are all set, I enjoyed coming here tonight, and I
Hey, we
wish
should
you-
have Rebecca on our float. How about you, JJ? You got any questions?
No, I'm all set. She answered it.
I'm very happy too.
You're happy? Oh my God, look at this, Rebecca, you got a happy group.
Resolved everything.
No, I'm glad, and that's why I said I'm hoping this is going to get out there to people that didn't know about this, they didn't come, they know about it now, they'll go down to Chipaway, talk to Dave about it, obviously Country Hardware, you know.
Actually, you know, I found one thing, that people who talk like in feed stores and farmers are quicker than the internet. It really is.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you don't have,
After
you don't
that
need a
meeting
phone, you
last
don't need
May,
anything, you just go to
I
Country
don't even think it was 10 o'clock in the
Hardware.
morning, and there was feedback, I was getting stopped. Goodness. So, yeah, I mean, if it concerns you, you have to speak out about it, and if
Yeah.
you don't like something, say something.
Say
and
something.
We can try to fix it, you know, I mean, sometimes, it doesn't always work that way, but if people come in and they air their opinions as to why they don't think something is right, or why are you doing this, if you have the answers to go along with it, a lot of the times, people will comply.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think this was just a real shocker.
Yeah, my day, I think indeed.
But the Board of Health did the right thing, they had the meeting and they decided to relinquish the fee. And like I said, a lot of that had to do, back in 2008, things were a lot different. 10
That's
years
right.
ago, 20 years ago, things were a lot different than what they are
That's right.
today.
No,
Things-
this truly seemed like a good common sense approach.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people will be happy, and that's the thing, you don't want people to be afraid of coming into the town offices to ask a question if they maybe haven't done something right, or they think that they're automatically gonna be penalized. I think you have to work with them. I would much rather teach someone than penalize them. That's my train
Well,
of
that's
thought.
where I was going to, probably our board will take it up after the first of the year of, we'll have to corral JJ, into having an Acushnet farm information day or a weekend. I mean, Maria can do winemaking and that we can have samples. Anyhow, and JJ can do, you know, working, plowing with a horse or horses or
Nice, that'd be
have
nice.
a tractor. We can have all sorts of things.
I was just wondering
Joanne
how
can
many
do,
cows that people can have.
planting.
on-
Everybody's got
how many acres of
something.
land.
It's agricultural, so the cows, it's not like, we have a regulation for the horses, we don't really have anything for the cows. Everyone in town, all the inspections that I have done, they all have ample space. They all do a wonderful job. I have, all my inspections this year were phenomenal.
Yeah,
You know,
right
I
across
mean-
the street from me, you know?
Mhm. But his place is phenomenal. I mean,
Oh, I know.
there's, you know, his buildings are clean. You know, things have come a long way from, I'm sure before my time, obviously. People take pride in their buildings and in their animals, and they move them around, and that, you
Yeah,
know,
he moves
that-
them around, but boy, I can't open my windows at all.
I've gone out there several times for inspections. I mean, I can talk to you about that later, but you know.
I forget it. And the flies, and what I get is what he feeds them, the bread and everything, it's all in my driveway.
How is it in your
The seagulls.
You'll have to call me when that happens.
Yeah, oh, I tell you all the time, I get it right on my steps, a
No, you've
piece
never
of
told me
bread.
that. No.
Or everything, yeah. When he feeds them, they plop right on my driveway, full of whites.
Oh, the birds?
Yeah, it's the seagulls.
I was wondering.
Yeah, no, that's why I was confused at the seagulls.
I'm confused.
Yeah. How are they getting to her driveway? I can't
Yeah, well,
control,
he's right on the-
I can't control birds.
It's right on the front of, right on the road, that's why I mean,
I don't
everybody
think
has their animals in the back. This one's right in the front.
Oh,
Yeah.
the chalets, didn't he have chalets?
Yes, yeah.
You don't see chalets very often around.
I didn't really
They're
see.
hard.
Never,
I don't think I
yeah.
saw any this year, maybe a few.
We had a
You
few
didn't really
old,
see a
didn't we
lot
have
this year. You
chalets?
see a lot more.
We had the white ones, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
White
chalet.
house he had there. The white
Yeah,
shop,
well,
yeah.
not now, right now, they're gone. Now he's got all black ones, and they're smaller. But he's got, must have about 20 over there now.
I don't know offhand. but-
Yeah, I know, because I can't, at least he moved that thing where they scratched themselves, he put it in the back, because other than that, it was right there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You can't open, and in the summertime, it's horrible.
Uh-huh.
You can't, you know. It- it's-
You're gonna
You
have
can't
Well,
open your window.
Rebecca has a number.
Yeah, I know. You do,
She's
you
ready
have my
to-
number, so when, you need to call me when it's bad.
Oh.
Not a week later, not 3 weeks down the road, not in the middle of winter.
No, no.
Because the inspection, because I've done several inspections.
Oh, yeah, he
and
keeps
every
it
time-
very nice.
And every time I've gone there, the smell was very minimal,
Really.
very minimal. Yeah.
But it is there. I don't open my windows all summer, forget it.
All right, I'll keep that in mind, and you can certainly call me when it's happening. Okay?
Right now, he's got the littler cows, you know, but
Yeah.
when he's got the big ones, oh my God.
Okay.
And, you know, Mrs. Ashley across the way used to live there, and they couldn't have a cookout in the backyard. The flies, oh, it was awful.
All right, well, let me know. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
They see something. Good thing you came now, you're all, now the animals inspector knows or the,
I know.
Well, I mean,
Bird fly
unfortunately, you know, when you have a farm, there's gonna be
It's-
flies, there's gonna be a smell, you know, many times.
That's part of
It's
the-
not gonna be dry because these animals weigh so much that, you know, where their trough is, it's gonna be wet, it's going to be muddy. It's not going to be a golf course.
No,
It's
no.
It's not going to be a golf course. I mean, that's one of the things of, you know, having a farm. We're an agricultural town now.
Agricultural town, yeah, but not right on the main drag.
Are we all
Put 'em in the back.
Are we all set?
Scott, you got anything you wanna?
Nope.
No, sir.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone if I don't see you.
Yep, and the same to
Same to
you.
Thanks
Okay.
again.
Well, we'll
You're
get in
very
touch with you in the spring when we get together
Absolutely.
with our agricultural show.
Yes, please
Come
do.
over and have some of Maria's hooch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very
for your time.
much.
Have a
Yeah,
good night.
You made our holiday.
Well, good, I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad. All right, take
Now,
care.
remember, everybody, get your wet chicks to the kiddies, and there's a present you can give them now. They're all set, you don't have to pay $50.
So we're gonna have a lot more chickens in town. All right, well, like I said, any questions, just feel free to give me a call.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys, take care.
Bye.
All right,
Yeah.
staying in or? You gonna stay?
I'll stay.
All right, I'll talk to you again. All right, bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay,
that was all
Yeah.
done.
now we're gonna move on to some new business or something. I'm gonna call this, instead of new business, I'm gonna call it new thoughts.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so new thoughts for the coming year. The Historical Society, what are they doing?
And we're looking at Scott.
Yeah, we're looking at
As far as
Scott.
what?
Is anything, are they gonna open up these, like,
The meeting house?
yeah,
The meeting house, the way it sits right now, as I understand it, we need to actually put a handicap ramp, very similar to what was done at the Grange. It's about that big, but it's still required.
It's not even fixed.
Yeah.
And I think there's some other structural issues.
Did you see me up there?
And we'd be looking for volunteers. I know I volunteered,
Well, it's the
I'll do it
truth.
once a month myself.
yeah,
We
well.
need a few more fill-ins.
We've said that here too,
Yeah,
but we've never been contacted.
it's quite a property, and we did make a big push to try to get a car show there. We're gonna try again. We
Well,
got canceled because
JJ
of
and-
the weather.
Yeah, JJ and I were over there. I don't know, they did a job on that ground. It was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely, wasn't it, JJ? It was pristine.
Yeah.
What a beautiful job. I don't know who did it, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, we need to draw some attention to that, and the museum. They're doing a lot of work at the museum. They put all new corner boards on, and it's a shame to have
I mean-
it, well, even the meeting house is by appointment only.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
So I
mean,
think during the warm weather, I think we should have it open on Sunday afternoons.
Well, we all, Maria, when Nancy comes back from Florida, she volunteered to do
So I
the
guess we can have
schoolhouse.
as many cows as they want.
And I mean, unless we open it up, I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
At least once a month.
at least,
Like
at
a
least
weekend,
I think
once
once a
a,
month.
Yeah.
once, two Sundays a
Okay.
month.
I think we need to
Bi-weekly.
get a schedule.
Are you
and
gonna
just-
volunteer
just
too,
stick-
though?
Stick with it, you know, just be there when we say we're gonna be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we'd do it. Maybe I'd get some reading done, for heaven's sakes. She'd just sit out there. But it's a beautiful spot. You know what we're talking about, right?
it'd be a nice place to have like a summer music series.
Well, that, they did
Plenty
it
of
one
parking.
time.
Yeah,
I think. They even had Ashley with his, the heck was that thing they had in the circus? What did they have in the circus? It's like an organ.
or kaleidoscope, not a
Right.
kaleidoscope,
Oh.
I don't know.
They carried it
That's
on a
something to
wagon.
look through.
Oh, God, now I gotta think of that. Yeah, remember they play organ music on the thing? And then the other thing we should be thinking about.
keyboard?
Hmm?
Keyboard?
Yeah, no, it's not a keyboard. It was a whole like pipe organ thing. You know, when the clowns come out.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, I'm blanking out on the
Clyde,
word.
I don't know. Now I gotta think of that. I'll never get to sleep. Okay, so we've got that. And then I was talking to JJ about, you know, what I had mentioned earlier, is to have just an Acushnet agricultural day. And I was talking about perhaps using JJ's establishment, because we could have, the Grange could do things like, I was curious, you know, Maria can make wine, and Joanne can show, this is just throwing stuff out.
Sure,
Joanne can show how to do planting, and Scott can do, you can do how to do hay bales or whatever, you know, that type of thing. We could just have what's Acushnet, you know, and, push our own selves, because otherwise than that. And then, I don't know what they're gonna do with the apple peach. What I said was true. They don't know. Somebody suggested they were gonna move it, or somebody said that they were gonna move it over to the school. But, you know, that kind of takes away the, you know, I mean, most of the farming in the town is on Main Street.
well, I know there's been a small core of people that have been, you know, making that happen for quite a few years, and they've done a pretty good job, a really good job. It's kind of traditional, and I can understand that it's an awful lot of work for a few people, you know?
You know, but I was talking, like the Grange was, we were talking, because I was over helping them, and if they even had tables for, what, $150 or $100, you know, it would, because they've got quite a, with Keith's in the back, they can go right, you know, the sky's the limit over there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot that can be done to save it, but you know, I can't see. They can't give up their Apple Peach Festival, you God, the whole time.
I know.
That's part of the
They're like-
town.
Yeah, I'd like to see it continue.
Huh?
I'd
It's a
like-
tradition,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
let's face it. You know, everybody goes and meets
draws
over
in a
there.
lot
It's
of
almost
people.
as bad as the Portuguese feast they got down. Everybody goes over there and meets everybody.
And
and-
every year they sell out with the peach cobbler and
Yeah, absolutely. You
literally.
know, even if they just go on a smaller scale and not have bands or something. You know, certainly,
Yep.
I better watch out. The AgCom will be doing a beach festival. But, like I said, there's a lot of things that we can do. We certainly gotta do our parade. Egon, you know, gotta
Yeah, I'm not
spruce it
going on
up.
vacation this year.
Oh, good, that's good. Are you gonna pop out of your beehive?
We'll see. See what we're gonna do.
Okay, well, we'll think of something. So, that's enough that everybody can be thinking over the holidays of things to do. JG's over there trying to stay out of them.
We were supposed to do the Founders Day, right?
Yeah,
So we should focus on that.
okay.
That needs to be explained to me. The Ag Commission, I mean, the Historic Commission said they haven't done anything like that for a long, long while.
What the founders did.
I'm unaware of the date, I'm unaware of what the gist of it was.
I'm unaware myself.
I'm unaware too, so I don't know if we're the
I think we have to pull it off the agenda.
I know we've already established that we'd like to do something together.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
but-
what we've made an effort to do.
And they haven't come, Pauline, I think the last time was sick. Or she had an operation on her
Shoulder, yeah.
Something
Yeah.
happened.
Uh,
But,
Maybe it's
We-
as simple as that. Maybe we need to maybe attend the next historic commission meeting and see if we
No
can
year,
see if we can
new
handle somehow.
ideas.
yeah, because, the problem too is volunteerism in all these organizations, even historical or any of these organizations, it goes down to the volunteers. But when we offered to open up these different things and stay there and be the caretakers for the day or something, nobody took us up on it. That's kind of silly.
Well, it's not,
Yeah.
but that's a good thing to work on.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean.
And the timeline is pretty good on that. We probably wouldn't be doing anything before,
Yeah.
probably May.
Yeah. May's usually a good month. It's usually, what do you think, JJ?
It's good.
Is your horses and all done shedding in May?
No, not done shedding.
You know.
But then we get another work.
What do you think, Joanne? You're a person of agriculture.
May? Well,
May's
planting
pretty-
is just starting
Yeah.
in May.
We did our Ag Day at the Grange, and we had a lot of people stepped up, JJ especially. And the only thing they didn't cooperate was
The weather.
the weather was about 20 degrees that day.
Oh, jeez, it was hard.
Raining.
This past spring, yeah, it was a cold spring.
Yeah.
Was it this past spring?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the
Yeah,
date,
it
but it
was
was
cold.
obviously too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think May would be
Better time.
a better time, right? We can certainly do everything, because this whole board is really agricultural people. That's where it's lucky, because we don't have.
So with the last Historic Commission meeting, we voted not to do a January meeting. And it was on the table, and maybe not do a February one either, but we're going to talk to each other before then, but I'll see if we can get on the agenda to, maybe all of us or some of us show up at that
I
one.
think maybe skip January, but February we need to get together and start organizing stuff for like May, because
Yeah.
that's not gonna be that
Yes.
long a period of time
Exactly.
to schedule things.
Yep.
Right. I think we should. What do you think, JJ?
I think so. Get it done quicker.
Okay. I think, because actually we gotta do something to push this town forward. People gotta take pride in their town. They can't say, just worry about getting a tax bill. They gotta have pride in, say, geez, well, it's not too bad. I can have 3 chickens or something. Don't have to pay $50. But anyhow, so, that type of thing. Well, okay, we certainly have enough things, or any new business or something, ideas. Be thinking of a float for the Apple Peach.
Yeah, the one
If
that
not-
we're still
if
gonna
not,
have.
If they don't have the Apple Peach Festival, we'll have our parade, or no matter what. Is there anything else anybody wants to
That would
discuss?
be awful if they didn't.
No, I don't think so.
You want to set a date for the next meeting?
Yeah. So we're gonna go into February?
I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
To have the next meeting in February?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
want to have a separate meeting in February, or if we're able to have a meeting with the Historical Commission, combine that
Now,
into the meeting?
Well, we'll have a meeting in February, we'll schedule, by then we'll have, like a march for historical, and at that time, they should have everything kind of organized of what they're gonna be doing or not, right?
Mhm.
And by then, we'll be able to have an exact information.
When's the Yankee, wait a minute, when's the Yankee shows? Anybody remember? Because we go to that. Maria brought a young goat last year to the,
Oh, but that's
up to the
later.
Aggie school.
Yeah, that's later, it's
Yeah.
not that early.
Yeah.
Was it June? It was before they graduated, so it had to be in May.
May, yeah,
Yeah, I think,
late
It had to
April
be.
and May, early May.
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Yeah, I
was,
think we should do that again.
yeah, we had kind
Yeah,
of,
we
your
had-
goat had fun.
We'll
Yeah.
have to keep changing and not have the same
Yeah,
repetitive
I know,
animal
we'll have to
there.
have something.
But
We'll
Yeah,
have trained
Niata
ducks or
is going through some
something.
changes. Niata, the pulling club, and the antique tractor club are separating.
I saw that. You know, that's a shame too, because when it first started, I can remember, we're talking about the antique tractor club that was held at Francis.
They have a plow day at
They have-
Bristol Ag Spring Expo.
They have it there still, they're gonna still do that, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah. So now it's come to two factions, garden tractors
Yeah.
outgrown the.
Well, the pullers in general, even the
Yeah.
big tractors, yeah.
So that they used to take tractors out of the woods, the old harvesters, and kick them and get them started, and they'd have a fun day out of it. Then it got too
So-
competitive.
We're gonna talk about volunteers at the meeting house, right?
Yeah.
And the museum too?
Yeah, because Nancy said she'd do the museum, because she
Sure.
likes to
Uh,
put around. I'm sure we can, you know. And then the Grange, you know, the Grange should get involved with doing some, you know, they can get involved too. If we all work together, we make a success. But if we try to work alone,
Functioning?
you know,
Need to
Yeah.
join,
That was your
put
father's
effort.
big-
yeah, it's better to have a group than
Yeah,
one
We can go all the
having to
time.
go it alone.
well, we got some resources, we just gotta pull them together.
And we just pull them together.
Him and
I mean,
George
this
went to
town's
the very-
really unusual. It's got 3 historic places. It's got its own library. It's got a lot of things
A lot of
going for
historic,
it.
and they're trying to eliminate the part of the historical part, which would have been the right to farm
Mm.
and the parade.
Right.
It's part of the town, it's been for years.
Well, if they don't want to do the parade, we can have an agricultural parade started up just start over there on, near,
I guess that we've been
yes,
starting.
Country Hardware, really. That's where the agriculture stuff is. Well, we can go to Joanne Chopper's house. We can start there and go down nicely. We can go the other way. We can start it somewhere,
Yeah.
let's face it.
Town's not that big, but.
Actually, JJ will put his horses in if they don't have to go all the way down to Polk Park. Jesus. So there are a lot of things we can do, really is. Okay, so
So-
everybody be thinking, so where are we gonna have our next meeting?
You want the 7 or the 21? I
Of
wouldn't
what?
suggest the 14th because it's Valentine's Day.
What happens on Valentine's? It costs money, I know that.
7th or 21st.
Now, which is this,
Shoot for
February?
February.
7th
Okay.
or 7th?
7th?
Sure.
When's the Grange meeting? It's the first Thursday of the month,
Yeah,
isn't it?
you know, I'm fuzzy on that, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's the first Thursday of the month.
So that would be that day.
That'd be the 7th.
So we're gonna go
Yeah.
with the 21st then?
I think we should.
21st.
It's the 3rd, yeah.
So like that, we'll have time to go to the 7th meeting?
Yeah. Yeah, we can go beat up on the Grangers.
So we'll
Was
go
it
to the 7th
221?
Granger,
The Grange is the first Thursday.
and then we'll have our meeting on the 21st.
Okay.
Hopefully we can pick up some information on the 7th.
Yep.
Right then. Okay, February 19.
21st. February.
No, in the year 19.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
God.
We still have
That's
3
one of
weeks.
the-
Slow down.
That's a long meeting. Okay. Anything else anyone wishes to discuss?
With the solar.
I want you to say that
Yeah, yeah.
no one thinks the Agricultural Commission does anything, but look, just look.
Oh,
No
I do.
$50 and we got our right to farm.
Thank God
Signs
for
up.
Rebecca in Board of Health.
Huh?
Thank God for Rebecca in Board of Health.
Yes, indeedy.
Well, that was ridiculous.
Good for Rebecca. She
And-
really is one of the top notch.
But she's been longer than 20 years here, because
She's
I've been
amazing.
here longer than that, and I remember her always being there.
Yeah,
Yeah. She knows everybody.
We won't count the years, so we don't know exactly ages.
Did she call you when your goats went off to the country whip?
Yes. Hey, for things, they wanted some ice cream.
Okay, can I make it, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
No, I have one more question.
Oh,
What are
okay,
we doing with the website?
that's a very good question. I'm glad you brought
Colony.
that up.
Yeah.
Old Colony, but now they're going into their thing and I'm going to call them. I'll call them
Now,
next week.
it's the holidays.
What, next week? I can ask if we can get going after the first of the year, so I can have something on the 21st. We've been involved with all this.
New year,
New year, new perspective, that's what we're gonna do. Right?
so you're gonna contact
I'll contact her, yes.
You're gonna
15
contact
years ago,
last
Eddie
I know it.
said, "Mom, Dad, you better do it."
Makes the time go.
It goes quick. doesn't it?
You know, you
Well,
know,
where
you
did a
know.
year go? Never mind.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness, this year.
Okay.
I'll make your motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second it. All those in favor?
All right.
Go.